I am the elf and I'm filling in the hole, filling in the hole, fill in the hole.
Hello and welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a turn-based strategy game featuring medieval-style armies interspliced with fantastical elements, so think dragons and trolls and undead armies running around, things like that. So if you're familiar with Warhammer Fantasy Battles, you'll be really familiar with what's going on, you pick it up quickly. If not, the game is relatively straightforward. You won't have a hard time catching on quite fast. As you've seen from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing as the Elven Conclaves, as the Elf Noble this time, and we'll be playing a run a polar opposite to the one we just had. So previously we played as the Dwarf Hold there and had artillery in a kind of very stationary shoot them from afar run. This time, however, we're going to be playing as a cavalry heavy army. So we're going to showcase the power of super fast movement and outflanking the enemy. We'll be playing on difficulty 5, as that's the crucial one that allows you to face enemies who can rally. So when you break an enemy in combat, they get an opportunity to return to combat. We'll go over what that means shortly. So otherwise than that, let's get started on the campaign. Okay, we come to the most important decision we make throughout the campaign, our starting 2 units. Now the Elf Noble comes with a unit of Elf Spears. There's nothing I can do about that. There's no Elf character that starts with a unit of Cavalry, so we're going to have to suck up having one infantry unit, but otherwise we can take all Cavalry. The Elf Chariots here could, in theory, I suppose, count as a mounted unit, but I don't particularly like chariots, so we'll avoid them if I can. Rather, we'll go with the Elf Reavers. Reavers are light cav, in that they're incredibly fast, and they're skirmish cav in that they have a ranged option. I'll probably be using them more for their melee capacity though, so we can use their great speed to flank around and outposition enemies. For our second unit, we have another unit of light cav, or what we will be taking, units of Dragon Knights. They're a cavalry unit that's in the running for best in the entire game. There's no shooting out of them, they're pure melee, they get into things and chew them apart in combat, so a good balance there. And here's the campaign map. So as we kind of have a look through, this is our army. I'm playing on a beta that allows me to see the models there. You can kind of see the Spearmen and our Noble and our Dragon Knights. To access the beta, I do get this question a couple of times. It's quite easy. You just right-click on the Steam in your the SOVL game in your Steam library. Go to Properties. There's a beta tab in the Property section. Set it to the public test beta and do a little update, and you'll have these models kicked in. So there's our army. Now having a look at the campaign map, we've got a legend we can quickly go through. We have Swords Crossed, which are battles. Battles are events where you face your army up against an enemy army. In exchange for winning, you get gold and experience for your troops at the cost of potentially sustaining casualties and weakening your army. So the objective as you go through, of course, is to build as much gold as you can while sustaining as few casualties as possible. The reason you want gold is because you're going to be spending them in these armories. These animals, they're basically shops where you can buy new units for your army or improve the ones you already have. The elite battles, the swords downs, are equivalent to the standard battles but harder in exchange for more gold. And then this question mark dice is a random event, so hard to describe what you'll get as you go into there. It could be a wide variety of things. A holy lake that bestows a blessing upon one of your units, or a forgotten tomb you could risk sending your men in to pull treasure out, things like that. So we'll just go through and we'll come across them as we play. And then the last one are campsites, these tents. Now, unlike battles, when you go to a campsite, you immediately receive a round of healing. Everyone gets healed a bit. At the end of a fight, you get a choice. You can either heal, or you can take some extra cash for each unit you have. So this is why, as you go through battles, you want to take minimum casualties as possible. Because if you take no damage, you can then, instead of wasting time healing, you can take more gold. Campsites, rather, instead of allowing you an opportunity to generate gold, give you a round of healing for free, and then you're given a choice between either a point of experience or a second round of healing. Typically, you want to avoid going to campsites, as if you're doing well, you want to take as many fights as possible to generate gold. Gold allows you to buy more units to improve your army, which makes the campaign easier. It helps you snowball into the second act where things get considerably harder. So go to a campsite if your army's getting its teeth kicked in quite badly, but otherwise you typically just want to avoid them. So the way we're going to style this is we want to take as many fights as possible while also avoiding campsites. So if we have a look, we've got fight down there, and it gets us to an armory. We take a fight. We have to go through a non-battle here, and again, and again. So yeah, unfortunately, once you get to here, you're kind of 3 in a row where you kind of get out of flux. So we'll probably take the top path. Fortunately, there is another 3 battle in a row option here, so we'll take that. You have an elite battle, which is great. You generate cash. We'll go up because there's only a single random event. It's good to have at least one, so we get a bit of variety. We can kind of see what they look like. So, but otherwise, it will be all fights and a couple elites as well, which is great as we kind of get through here. So that's the path we'll be taking. That's army, so let's get stuck in and see what a battle looks like. Up against a shambling host, so we'll be facing undead. Yep, so we roll a dice each. The entire game is predicated on the roll of a 6-sided dice. That's what all the mechanics are based on. So we rolled one each, and I beat the AI, so I'm going first. Right, let's deploy. So you get this deployment phase. You can shuffle your movements around. One thing it doesn't tell you in the game that you can do, if you hold the shift key while you're holding unit and drag, you can change their facing in deployment. So you just have to hold shift while you do this, and you can kind of get them. I'm not fussed otherwise. I'm just going to put my cavalry on the flanks, as they're nice and fast and should be able to outposition everything quite quickly. Okay, so I'm going first, which is a tad annoying, but never mind. So what I'll do is start moving these spearmen forward. So you can select the unit and you can move them as your movement allows. Okay, so this direwolf unit has sprang forward, which is foolish of them. I'll show you why. All units in the game have facing, so if you hover over an enemy, so you have a front, 2 flanks, and a rear. So it's relevant in that when you declare a charge an enemy, as we'll see in a moment, wherever the majority of your unit is, that'll be the flank you face. Because they've moved forward this far, the reason they've done that is so they can get to combat with here. What I can do in exchange is I can race my unit through and escape their charge range. What do we know where their charge range is? Well, we use the 2 most important keys in the game, the X key and the C key. So the X key, if you hold it down, will show you your charge range. What this means is that if there's any enemy units in these blue areas at the beginning of the next charge phase, your unit will be able to legally declare a charge against them. Simultaneously, by holding the C key, we can see if there's any of your units in here, the enemy can charge you. So if I left this unit here and stayed here, they would be able to charge me, and I would be able to charge them, so we'd end up hitting each other. Whereas if I do this, however, run through and twist, I've escaped the enemy's charge range. They can no longer see me to charge, and I can clearly charge them. Additionally, because I've gotten into the flank here, when I do declare a charge, I'll smash into their flank. I'll show you why that's crucial when we get into combat. So their skeletons start rummaging forward, that's fine. I can just bound forward with our archer cav here, get as close as we can. Right, so I tried to get close, I couldn't quite manage it. 4+, what does that mean? Well, when you're shooting units, so we're using our short bows to shoot at them, you can hover over them and it will reveal what the hit chance is. So 4+, what does that mean? It means on the roll of a 6-sided dice, any result of a 4, 5, or 6 are a success. Why is it 4+? Why that specifically? Well, when you're shooting at something, it's simply the number 7 subtract the unit's skill. So in this case, 7 minus 4 is 3, so it will be 3+ to hit, but it's 4+. We're reduced by 1 because we're suffering the minus long range penalty by 1. Long range is determined by if you're shooting at something that's over half the distance of your weapon. So short bows only have a distance of 20, so they're obviously beyond 10, so our 3+ is reduced to a 4+, so we only have a 50-50 chance of hitting. So we shoot them, we roll 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, none of those are 4 or more, we get no hits, we do nothing. Thus ends that phase, we wrap back round to this phase. Okay, so charge phase. So I could send the Reavers into the side of the zombies immediately. I'm going to hold off for a moment, there's a reason I'm not going to do that, rather I'm just going to go and kill these direwolves. Confirm charges, confirm. Okay, the enemy are forced to move, which is good, because that allows me to kite. Now I'm close. See, now that they've moved into the green zone, it improves to 3+, so a roll of a 3, 4, 5, or 6 will be a successful hit. Only a 1 or 2 will fail. So we shoot them, great, we hit 4 times. Right, and then another roll happened after that, the range save. So what ends up a saving throw is after you successfully hit an enemy, or they hit you, you're allowed to try and save the hit. So that's determined by comparing the power of the weapon hitting them against the defense of the unit. So our short bows have a power of 3, you see down the bottom left, and the zombies we were shooting at had a defense of 3. So when the power and defense are equal, the save happens on a 4+, 4, 5, or 6. So you effectively have a 50-50 chance of saving the hit that came into you. It represents that the power and skill are obviously exactly equal, so you have an exactly equal chance. The zombies rolled quite well. They rolled a 5, a 1, a 4, and 4, so they saved 3, and a single zombie got pipped by an arrow. Again, I'm going to avoid combat for now, because it would be more beneficial for me to wait for the Dragon Knights to clean this up, so then I can send them around into these undead. And I'll go over why that's the case momentarily. These skeleton warriors are beginning to menace my elf nobles and spears. They could win this. I suspect they would win combat, but again, I'm just going to be a little bit strategic here and avoid combat for the time being. So we're clearly out of their range. They can't reach me. We're fine. Done. Right, now we're going to get into the combat phase for the first time. Okay, so a couple of things to explain here. Again, we're attacking them. So how many attacks do we get? Well, you can look at the attacks of your unit. Dragon Knights get 2 attacks each. There are 5 of them for a total of 10 attacks. That's how many times we're hitting. So the attack roll, you can see there it says 3+, skill 5 versus skill 3. So when you're hitting in combat, it's slightly different to when you're shooting. Instead of being 7 minus whatever your skill is, it compares skill versus skill. So in this case, our Dragon Knight's very high skill of 5 is superior to the enemy's skill of 3. So we hit them on a 3+, or 3, 4, 5, or 6. We have better than not chance of hitting because we have better skill. You also know that there's a little dice with some arrows around it called reroll failures. The reason that's happening is because the Dragon Knights come with Elven Mastery. You can see there, reroll missed attack rolls. So of the 10 dice we're about to roll, any 3, 4, 5, or 6 will succeed and hit the die rolls. Any 1s or 2s reroll will be given an opportunity to roll them again to try and convert them into a 3, 4, 5, or 6. So in other words, they're incredibly accurate. A 3+ with a reroll opportunity has an 88% chance to hit. So more often than not, we end up with 8 or 9 hits out of this. So we'll roll to hit. So 7, and then we'll reroll those 3. We end up with 9 of 10 hits. Okay, what just happened there? I'll allow this to roll out for a second, then explain. So after that, we then had a saving throw. So again, we compare our power against the enemy's defense. We have a power of 4 base, and then because we charged with a hand weapon, you can see hand weapon and shield, permanent +1 defense, which was clarifies, and a charge bonus of +1 power. So we went from 4 to 5. So the way saving throws work is that if the power is equal to defense, you'll save on a 4. If the power is superior to the defense of the unit save is reduced to 5+, so only a 5 or 6 will save. Again, you have a lesser chance than not of saving because the power is greater than defense. If power was inferior to defense, they would save on a 3+. Now power and there's some other things that can happen, but we'll leave that there. So they rolled a 5, a 6, 5, 5, 5 failures. They've only got 1 wound each, so the whole squad died. Okay, so the dogs then hit me back, but they only got 2 dice. The reason for that is that because I flanked them. Getting into the enemy's flank means that they don't get to attack with all of their guys, only the one in base contact with you. So that one die will have got to hit me. So they only got 2 attacks. They have inferior skill. Whenever your skill is inferior to what you're targeting, you hit on a 4+, so they rolled a 1 to 4, so they got 1 hit. And they have inferior power to my defense, so which means I save on a 3+, so anything but a 1 or a 2. I take no damage and I wipe out the whole squad. The Sunwind defenders there. Not a big fans of Peter. Just get in there and kill dogs for the hell of it. So we have no charges for this turn, we'll wait. Now the reason I've been a bit cagey and I've been waiting for these zombies to effectively reveal their moves is because you don't want to get trapped in combat with undead. The reason for that is that they are incredibly resilient, like just irritatingly so. They don't flee from combat. So ordinarily when you do catastrophic damage to an enemy unit, they'll just give up and run away, which is kind of reasonable, to be honest. Unfortunately with undead, however, they'll just stay in combat with you forever. They'll never go away. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take the opportunity to set up a double charge. So I'm going to hit one of these units from both sides. Now in terms of picking one, what we'll probably skip it for this turn because I just want to make sure they separate and don't do anything silly. So let's prioritize these skeletons as they're the stronger unit. Might as well shoot them while we're here. 2 less skeletons. I'm just going to go ahead and position myself to get us around. So my spearmen will distract these zombies by dragging them around the map, while my 2 cavalry units here will collapse and kill the skeleton unit. So undead particularly we're already faster than enemies we would be facing, but in this case we're much faster and they're terribly slow. So annoyingly, this is what I thought would happen. They're not taking the bait. They're not going for my spearman unit, so I'm going to have to waste some time. So they're going to do that. I think that's fine. What I'm going to do now is get you up and out the way. Because if they ignore me again, what I can do is I can put the spearmen into their back, which should be good enough to wipe most of the unit. So I'm going to put you into the rear of this skeleton unit. So let's have a look at... So we can be a little bit... We don't have to be so pedantic. We can just put it there. We're clearly beyond the range of the zombies, so they can't touch us. And we're clearly in the back of these. And we might as well shoot them as well. Why not? Actually, what I'll do, because this unit's going to get completely killed anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shoot the zombies a bit. So there's less of them to deal with later. So they can't reach me. I can clearly see the enemy unit. Yep, that's perfect. Done. Okay, and I'm going to move this unit around here. Now I don't have to get it all the way out of their chart. I'm going to intentionally leave it in some in their blue area to demonstrate why that's not an issue. So the majority of my unit is within the side arc here, the flank, but they can see me, so they can declare a charge on me. I'll show you why that's fine. 10. So this enemy skeleton, now they've declared a charge on me, which is unfortunate. So all I could do, I could counter and we could smack into each other. The reason I did that is because whenever you charge an enemy in the rear or flank, your charge counts as an intercept charge. So so of course you get the rear or flank, which is great, but it also has the effect of cancelling any charges the enemy were trying to make. So we've killed their charge, and now we have a free side charge, so we've hit their rear and their flank in one go. So the zombies continue to push towards me there, that's fine. They've just given my spearmen here an opportunity to hit them. I don't think I can quite get them in the back, unfortunately. It's going to be a side charge, but that's fine. It's better than letting them hit my poor light cav in the rear there. Okay, so again, we have superior skill to the enemy, so we'll be hitting on 3s, and we're still, Elven Mastery is always in effect, so we'll always be rerolling. So 10 attacks, 3 plus rerolling, 8 hits of 10, which is 10 out of 10, fantastic. They have an amazing roll, we only kill 3 skeletons. They don't hit back at all, so those 3 guys fail to do anything. And then the Reavers will go. They still have superior skill, because Undead have some of the worst skill in the game. They're all down at skill 2, so we still hit the 3+. But they don't reroll because these aren't Elven Masters, so they kill 2 more. So some spectacular saving throws from skeletons there, keep them in combat. Now ordinarily an enemy unit would just give up, because they lost by a catastrophic amount. However, Undead will stubbornly hold on in combat forever. There's nothing you can do about it. Instead of running away, they roll this, they roll a crumble roll, so they lose 1 to 3 extra guys. Now everyone's locked in combat. I can still technically use this ability because my Elf Noble comes with an ability we can't use, so nothing for us to do there, we'll just form the fight. So again, so we're still hitting, we're still rerolling, and we still have superior power despite not having a charge bonus anymore, so yeah, much better there. Then hit us once, and we take a wound, but fortunately Dragon Knights, like all cavalry, have 2 wounds each, so we haven't actually lost a guy. So yeah, obviously we can finish off the last skeleton here, no problem. Yep. And over here, so Elandra Sunfire, our Elf Noble, is going to start attacking first, so she has 3 attacks, with more than double skill of the enemy, but you can never get better than a 3+ for attacks unless some magic items are involved. So 3, and she also has the Elven Mastery ability, so she's an honorary Dragon Knight, so 3 attacks, 3+ re-rolling. So a 2 into a 2, great. And then power-wise, yes, her power is superior to their defense, so they only save on 5 or 6. So she kills 2 zombies on her own. The Spearman unit then attacks, again, superior skill, so 3 ups. But then we have equal power to the enemy's defense, so they save on 4+. Always good enough. 2 zombies they get to hit back. They have inferior power to my defense, so I save on a 3+. I lose none. Win by 5. They won't run away, instead they'll lose 1 to 3 extra zombies, they lose 2 more. The enemy sustains severe damage now, so they've been reduced all the way down to wavering. I can't quite declare any charges here, there's nothing I can do in that turn. So what I'll do instead is I'll get these out of the way. I'm going to get them out, so I'm going to put the Dragon Knights into their back rather than doing anything else that's more useful. Just get you out of the way. You cannot shoot into a locked in combat, so that's the reason why I didn't have the bowman fire into there. That's not a valid target. And then these knights, I'll have you come over here. I'm intentionally making sure they go into the back of the enemy so they don't take any hits, because they have taken some damage. So there's nothing you could do, so just done. We might lose a couple of spearmen here, but that's fine. So again, Elandra's going to go. 3's all hits, and still superior, so she kills another 2 zombies. How consistent. The spearmen now go. 5 hits, that's good. Another 4 zombies. In fact, we don't even need to bother with Dragon Knights, they've already done it. Zombies do terribly, they get a single hit out of 8 attacks. And they do munch at one of my spearmen, and they crumble to nothing. There you go. All enemies wiped out at the cost of a spearman. Yeah, okay, so at the end of a battle, you'll get experience generated for your guys. So everyone's got 1, no levels yet, and then you have a choice between either resting or taking loot. So I'm pretty happy with our units are still combat viable, so I'm just going to take gold and everything for now, which is great. There we are. Down a spearman, but that's fine. What are we going to do? So otherwise, yeah, just straight to the next fight. It's Goblin Raiders, so the enemy will actually have some morale we can play with here. They're going first, which I actually like in this case. That's not bad. So now with these cavalry-based armies, so a bit of trick for deployment here. Ordinarily, you'd think, well, they're extremely fast, so you want to put them on the flank and have them run around the enemy. However, what ordinarily ends up happening is the AI will think the same. It will put its fast units also on the flank. So on its turns, it will send whatever fast unit it has barreling down here to end up smacking your catching anything. So what you can do instead to catch them out is put your fast units in the middle. So, and then you can use your other units like this as bait. So you put this here, so if they did have a fast unit here, it will charge all the way down here to get into combat and charge these, at which point it becomes so easy for you to position here and flank them. Piece of cake. And then there might be something fast over there. Not a lot I can do about that. I'll just have the Reavers go there. So I like this positioning because it makes it quite easy for us to catch the enemy out. Okay, they're over there this time, which is fine. So they'll come forward and I might be able to hit them. It might be a bit of a pain with this rock in the way. We'll see what we can do. Okay, they moved to there. I can quite easily catch them. The risk, however, is that were I to do so, they're going to end up in the next turn. So if I show you this, so I can quite easily get over there. Yeah, I can effortlessly reach them and get my side charge, so that it worked as intended. It's a bit of a hassle though, because what will end up happening is that goblin mob is then going to hit me in the side, which I'd really rather not happen, I'm going to be honest. So I might delay myself for a turn here. I need to be able to distract that goblin mob and pull it this way, but there's not really anyone going to be able to do that, so I'm just going to have to suck it up and... Okay, I'll use the... Yeah, I'll just use you as intended. I don't think the goblin mob is going to reach us there. Just in case they do, I'll twist a bit to make it as a longer movement for them as possible. So, yeah, they didn't reach us and they didn't block us from charging. The other thing to bear in mind is that when you want to charge like this, you have to be able to draw a straight line from the center of your facing to the center of the enemy facing you're charging into. So, is there anything blocking me from going there to there? Well, no, we're clearly fine, so that's okay. Now that I've positioned myself there, what I can do is I'm going to have these head up here and get a flank charge on that goblin mob. So we're going to do this. So again, we need to be careful to make sure that can we draw a straight line from there to there? Yes, we can. Is the majority of my unit in their side? Absolutely, yes. There's no problem. In fact, we're so in their side, I'm tempted to pull ourselves back a bit and make that less, make it a bit easier to make sure we don't accidentally get blocked. Let's have a look. Are we there? You can use the enemy's line of sight as a bit of a cheat code there to see whether or not you've got far enough into the side arc for it to count. Otherwise, yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. We just do this. We have great movement, so they're obviously well within range. Side arc, nothing blocking my charge. And we can do this because the enemy aren't going to be able to charge me because we're going to intercept them. So we'll crisscross charges here, which is quite convenient. So yeah, we're happy with that. We can also shoot as well. The Goblin Wolf Rider is going to get absolutely slaughtered when the Dragon Knights go in, so let's start softening up the Goblin mob instead. 2 less Goblins, fine. Turn 2. Now you want to be careful about the charge order here, because if you're only allowed to intercept once per turn. So if I did that first, but the enemy has just handed it to me, I have to intercept them first here. So in we go, and then we crisscross over there. So there you go, out-positioned. Confirm. You're allowed to conveniently phase through units in the charge phase, so as long as you get them into position, you're fine. They're going to pointlessly chase around my spearmen for quite some time. I'm going to get them up close because it means when the enemy try and catch me, it's going to be easy to squeak around, so that's no problem. Here we go. So again, superior skill to enemy skill, so 3+ re-rolling. 5, try again. 8, 10, much better. Superior power to defense, so we do 5 wounds. They do no hits back, so they just take 6 damage. Goblins have terrible discipline, not exactly known for their bravery, so you roll a discipline check, which is your discipline minus how much you lost by. They had to roll a 0 on 2 dice, which technically I think you'll find isn't possible, so away they go. They're off the field, and they fled, and they ran clear away, so they're away. So this one might be a bit trickier. The light cavalry charging is quite as powerful, because they hit fantastic, never mind, they did us proud. And they did even more damage than the Dragon Knights did somehow. I'm just wrong. No wounds back. I apologise, Dawnstar Guard. You really showed me this boss. Even harder, you definitely can't roll a -3 on 2 dice. Okay, so we're gonna... Now I can recharge this Goblin Mob. I'm gonna hold off for a moment because they might just go away of their own accord. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Come forward, and will never reach me, so let's just scoot around and waste their time, like so. Yep, that charge range there. Okay, so the enemy, whenever they're broken like this, they have to roll a rally test. So because we're playing on difficulty 5, they have a chance to resume combat even after they break and run. On the lower difficulties, they will just run forever. So because I've seen that, they're not going to come back, so I don't particularly care about them. So what I think I'd like to do is I'd like to get my Dragon Knights into the rear of the Goblin mob, because they're not realistically, if I charge them in the back, they're not going to hold. So I'll just have you here. Shoot them. One hit, great. No damage. Okay, so they're going to run out the way. What I might do, I might set up a double charge on this. Okay, so that's still the rear, so I just have to get happy with one, and that's fine otherwise. And then can we reach them this turn with the knights? So we can get to, yes, we can get well beyond the unit and get to their backup. Excellent. They run away again, so again we could just shoot them. If they do rally, I can put them in the back. Ordinarily I'd kind of be set up a double charge with here, but I don't think it's necessary. I think the Dragon Knights are potent enough just to smash through them. And in that case, because I'm doing this, let's just kill off this Goblin mob while we're here. Let's not waste time. If by some miracle this unit holds on, what I can do is I can put them here and then rear charge them. If a unit... So this is why it was crucial last fight that we engaged the zombies from 2 flanks. When a unit is engaged by only one enemy and they hold on in combat, they don't break or they don't run, they'll then turn the whole unit to face you. So with undead, this is a massive pain in the ass, because even if you flank or rear charge them, they'll never run away, so the next turn, inevitably, they're going to turn around and start masticating you with a large number of attacks. So that's why if you put 2 of your guys in, so let's say you hit them on 2 flanks, even if the enemy persists in combat, they won't be allowed to turn. They're locked in their current facing. So they'll be able to turn around, so if they do, they'll be turned that way, and then I can rear charge them. Here we go, so 7, which is actually 9 hits, and then they have a 5-up save. Okay, so they lose by 7, and they get rear charged for an extra 1, so lose by 8. Run away. And here, not exactly expecting this to be difficult. Yeah, excellent hit rolls. Doing very well, the Dawn Star. There's a single Goblin mob left. Can't hold on. Well, that's the worst discipline roll you can have. Flawless victory. The bravery of Goblins shining through there. Couple levels. So our Dawn Star Guard Elf Reavers have leveled up, so let's see what that looks like. So when you level up, you get a choice. You get 3 units. So replenishment is those healing options you see there. It would improve the amount you get. We're not going to be playing the game in such a way where we're going to be taking catastrophic numbers of casualties, so you want to avoid that. The Bow Mastery is exactly what it says. The range of the shots increase. Again, they have movement sufficient to get into range whenever they want. There is a extra benefit in that their short range obviously increases proportional to their total range, so you get easier shots. But what I'm going to go with is Elf Steed Mastery. The +1 movement is nice, it's not amazingly useful, but the master, when you see these 1 lines, that means there's extra levels in these ranks beyond that, so getting to Mastery 2, when we get to Mastery 2, you'll see how potent it is. So we'll go there to start, and then the Dragon Knights have done it as well. Extra unit size would be nice, but not for now. We can pick that up later. 5 is enough to smash through anything we pretty much come across. So again, we're not going to be playing in such a way where we're going to be taking so many casualties we need replenishment, so we'll take a looter. We're going to be taking a lot of gold on them, so an extra 5 every time is going to add up to a lot over the course of the campaign. Good start. And we're going to come up here and move to this battle, where exactly as we are there. Yep, good. Roaming Brigand, so humans. We're going first, fine. So there'll be an archer unit tucked away somewhere, and there'll be some sort of melee unit. So if I was the AI and I had an archer unit, I would almost certainly put it into cover here. So let's put a nice fast unit onto them there to immediately jump on them. I'll put another unit cavalry there as well. They're more durable, so I'll just make sure enemy ranged units will always target whatever is closest to them. So if you want them to shoot something specifically, so I'd rather the Dragon Knights are more valuable, but they're also better at soaking shots. So I'd rather they be there, and I'll just have the spearmen there ready to go. Okay, they managed to outfox me and put them on that side. Fair enough. I'll have to go around the long way. So the only thing we can do, I haven't. So the X and C keys give away your charge range, enemy charge range. If you hold the Shift key, now that we've come across some enemy range, you can see basically the range distance of your distance attack. So if you have any shooting, you can see what is in range. So that's what I can reach with my short bows, and this is what the enemy can reach with their long bows. So long bows obviously have superior range; they can reach more. So yeah, they'll catch me there. What I'll do is I'll start shuffling my spearmen over that way. So there's a bit of it. So the way cover works is you can see into it, but not beyond it. So you can see there, they clearly can't see me to shoot at me there. So I'm just going to get myself nicely tucked away behind cover. Before they come, they didn't get. In fact, they've positioned themselves dismally there because they basically made it very, very easy for me to reach them and hit them in the side. The extra movement from my ability there is going to come in handy because it allows me. Again, charge ranges work the same way. Again, you can charge into the woods but not beyond it. So if I didn't touch the woods, I wouldn't be able to reach them. However, if I just get there you go. I'm in it now. I can see beyond it. I can reach them. The obvious downside of this is that it gets me close enough to this unit for it to come bother me. So I'm just going to twist a bit. They'll obviously be able to reach me, but if they do, what I can do is I can put the Dragon Knights around and hit them in the side. So we'll flank them and immediately flank them. We'll take a shot, just soften up the archers while you have a chance. One less archer. Before they come, that's fantastic news for us because they've made it really easy for me to do this. There you go. So you'll flank them and you'll flank them. There you go. Cavalry superiority in action. So they're going to charge me, but not really because we can intercept. And then these archers aren't long for this world either. Confirm. Okay. Now of those, realistically the Dragon Knights will have a better chance of breaking these. However, the sheer fragility, so the archers are so weak that I don't really care about them hitting back. But if the bandits hold on, that's going to be a real nuisance. So between the two, I'm actually going to move the spearmen to support the Dragon Knights just in case this doesn't go away. If this does go away, I can move them around and hit them. If they're both stuck, I would rather kill the swordsmen first because they're the ones that are going to hurt us. And I'd rather this unit be full strength because it's harder to recover them. So we'll get to there. Nothing else to do. We're going to the combat. Okay, so our usual 10 attacks, 3s re-rolling, because we're going to have better skill than basically anything we come across for a while. The back rank entirely dies and they don't get any hits at all. So flank and 5s win by 6 and they break. Excellent work. Okay, can we break the unit of archers? Fine hit roll, and then we've got, and yeah, pretty fine attack roll. So, well, they hit us back, very skilled in combat archers, and we take 1 wound. That might allow them to hold on. No, they just break as well. There you go, their entire army gave in. This demonstrates why cavalry is so powerful. The ability to outposition and flank the enemy is king. You can do devastating damage and break their morale before they can do anything. So Elandra Sunfire is leveled, the elf noble, so let's see what she can do. She can improve her wounds, improve her discipline, or improve her gold income. Now, the way characters work is a bit weird, where when they get into combat, when enemies are hitting them, they don't hit the character, they hit the defensive properties of the units they're in. So the wounds and defense and the skill of the unit is what is used to determine what all the rolls are. So increasing your wounds on the character might seem that it has no point, unless the entirety of the unit has been killed and it's just the character left, at which point you'll then have to start wounding the character specifically. The exception, however, is when you have a combat in which your lord faces an enemy lord in the same battle. So if you get 2 regiments that have characters in them, they'll enter a duel, so a one-on-one battle, in which case the specific stats of each of the characters will come in, so that's where you would want to wound. Honestly, skill 5 re-rolling everything is already going to outclass pretty much everything we run into, so an extra wound's kind of not great at this point. We won't bother. Veteran Discipline, including Discipline, is perhaps one of the worst upgrades in the game. You would only use Discipline if you're losing combat to having to take Rally Test, and you don't want to be playing the game in such a way that you need to be rallying anyway. So no to both of those. Will increase the amount of gold she generates for us at the end of each battle. By that I mean this flat value up here increases by 5%, so an extra 3 gold there. Not much individually, but over the sheer number of battles we have throughout the campaign, it will add up. Her accompanying elf spears have leveled as well. Interesting, so they can increase their unit size. I'm already not using it to its potential, so you might as well just leave it. Allow them to fight in an extra rank. I don't have the extra rank at this point, so they're really just going to be a cash generating tool because I'm not really going to be using them in combat. It's a cavalry run, so yeah, just give me a bit more gold, please. I'm going to be taking gold on them pretty much every time as well. So yeah, a large amount. That's pretty impressive for the first 3 battles. So we come to our first armory. Excellent. So we have a choice of, oh, does a dragon count as cavalry, do you think? So there's the traditional way of dealing with it. You can just take a normal unit of lancers, or we can go the fancy route. It's really tempting. I mean, come on, surely we can all agree that an ancient dragon counts as, it's got 4 legs, it's a cavalry unit, it moves very quickly, but I think that's fine. It also is a good choice because it means our noble, who's a pretty effective combat character, can actually get into the game, because as you noticed, I'm not really using her at all because the spears are just being used as a distraction force. So maybe we'll pick up a unit of elf lancers later, but grabbing a dragon early on is pretty cool. Leaves us with 113. Okay, so of those choices, you get binaries and you get upgrades. Upgrading the character would be great, but there's some crucial ones I want to give her. So you can give her some. What does she come equipped with? She starts with a hand weapon and shield. So she always has defense, which is kind of moot because you'll be benefiting from the dragon stats anyway, which are high. That's great for a monster. Otherwise, it would improve her power or give her more attacks. So stuff we can maybe pick up later. The weapon enchantment gives her a permanent +1 power, which is also great because the one thing the Elf Noble doesn't have, she's got great skill and quite a few attacks. I mean, but she doesn't have a lot of hitting power. So just increase the number and you'll be good. Well, we'll leave her be for now. Let's look at the other. Skytail, our ancient dragon, can get plate barding. I pretty much always buy plate barding the second I can because that extra point of defense moves the dragon from 5 to 6. That is a crucial break point because most of the enemy stuff you'll be facing will be 5 or lower, so you'll be saving on a 3+ against pretty much everything. Even better, if the enemy attack is only power 3 and your defense 6, that means you save on a 2+. We haven't seen that interaction yet, so I'll explain it when it comes up, but it's a fantastic breakpoint and it makes the dragon incredibly survivable. So we'll add the plate barding, it leaves us with 78, which is unfortunate because if I buy what I really want, which, oh no, just about, okay. So the Dragon Knights can buy a lance and shield, so +1 power and +2 to charge. Again, why that's crucial is because you have a look at what they're doing now. They've hand weapon shield, so they go from 4 to 5 on the charge, which is good. But if you have a lance, it's exactly the same, but you go from 4 to 6 on the charge. Again, power 6 is a fantastic breakpoint because the highest enemy defense you'll usually be coming across is defense 5, so that'll be enemy heavy cavalry will be 5 and things like that, and enemy monsters. Some of the big monsters will be defense 6, but typically 6 gets you over everything. So it's just a flat improvement over our hand weapon. It's just really good. That leaves us with 38, which is just enough to do what I want, which is I can either upgrade our Lord, or I can buy Banners of Swiftness. Now, the Elfry was already fast enough such that I'm really not bothered with them not getting to where they need to be. So I think I would rather buy a Banner of Swiftness on the Dragon Knights. That being said, it would actually be rather cool to start improving my character immediately, because she needs to do damage on her own. She's running around single-handedly, so she'll be power 5 with 3 attacks currently. The Great Weapon will mean I'm always power 5 and 6 on the charge, so it's a pretty big increase. I think, yeah, usually I disregard the characters, but we're going to be playing with her quite heavily, so I'm actually going to support her over the Dragon Knights this time. Interesting that the hand weapon is costly more. I would prefer the power for more consistency. I think against most things we would be hitting, that would come in more useful with because our hit rolls are already great. We just don't have a lot of power to deal with. But yeah, we're now a super beefy elf. Elandrin's been hitting the gym. Okay, so we've got our improved cavalry, quote-unquote, army. So let's carry on into an elite battle against Korgak. So having the extra power I just picked up her on the Great Weapon is actually going to be a big deal. So they're going first, which suits me because it means I can see where the enemy's going to position and move. What I'll probably do is I'm going to put the dragon behind this. The reason for that is that, yes, it's an impassable building. However, flying units, such as dragons, can ignore terrain. So you could just move straight through this stuff. You didn't care it's there. It presents no obstacle. Otherwise, let's put this spearman unit here as a bit of a trap. So if anything does come barreling its way down here, I can just trap them here, and then I'll have you here as a distraction, and I'll put you there to catch anything that tries to be cheeky in that direction. Okay, so their fast stuff is actually over here. There's a chariot, a unit of brutes and a war chief. Okay, so they've gone first. What do I want to do about this? Okay, so I'm just going to run you forward. Unit of trolls here, that's interesting. They're going to come forward-ish. It's going to be hard for me to flank that chariot, but what I can do is I have superior movement to them. So if I just back up an inch, I can probably get myself into a position to end up hitting them in the... I can hit them in the front, which is usually bad, but they won't be able to charge me. Denying a chariot to charge is absolutely crucial, because so all units benefit from the charge, at least usually in some capacity. Chariots specifically benefit massively. They get 2 extra power and 2 extra attack, so it just goes to show that that's the way chariots are designed. They're made to smash into things headlong, so they go from power 4 to power 6, and from 3 to 5 attacks. It's a huge increase beyond any other unit in the game, so you want to deny them charges as much as you possibly can. What gives me pause, however, is that what's likely going to end up happening is, were I to do that, I'd get into the front and then we'll probably be engaged by that huge block of Orc Warriors. I have other units that can probably contend with it, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to do it now. I'm not going to fire a load of arrows into the trolls. The reason for that is that if you have a look at them, the trolls have the regeneration ability, so I'll show you what that does in a moment. Well, let's just take a shot of this chariot while I have a chance. 2 wounds, fantastic. That means when I charge it, I'm basically guaranteed to kill it. So we move back a bit and then we move forward. So I can still reach them and they can no longer reach me. There you are, piece of cake. They're going to come right here. They've pretty much handed someone a flank charge there, which is... I'm going to have to think about this a bit though. So they're going to face them. I could put either the Dragon Knights or the Ancient Dragon themselves into the flank, which could work, but then it leaves me... I need something to intercept the trolls next turn. So if I put this unit in, and the trolls then turned and tried to hit me there, I could move the dragon up behind, but then they're going to be about here, so it's going to get a bit messy. If I use the dragon instead, these Dragon Knights aren't going to be able to position around, so I think we'd be best off hitting them in the side with this unit, like so. So we're definitely there, it's definitely a side arc, nothing can interrupt us, which is good. Forward they come, and I'm going to fly, so we can fly 20, and get to that. I'm going to calmly tuck myself into this little recess here. There I'm beyond the reach of any of the enemies, which is good. Excellent. Okay, now I could use the dragon has a ranged attack here. It's not going to show me, but it can breathe fire. I'm not going to breathe fire into the trolls again because of that pesky regeneration bit. So let's start picking off Orc Warriors. In fact, if you're clever, what you might do is I might just cook the... See if I can just execute the chariot in one shot. Yeah, I can. Okay. So yeah, it's was it fire breath there? So 2d3. So by 2d3 it means you don't hit normally. Rather, you just roll 2 dice that have a result of either 1, 2, or 3, and then you add the result. So 1 plus 3 is 4. You get 4 hits. So you just get anywhere between 2 and 6 hits every time you fire. So we've executed the chariot without ever having to bother it, which is fantastic. The reason I'm not shooting at the trolls, as I'll show you now, is they have the regeneration ability. So unit recovers all missing wounds at the end of turn. So effectively, any chip, they have 3 wounds each. So if you did 1 or 2 wounds to a troll and didn't kill it, at the end of the turn, they'll just regenerate right back up to full wounds anyway. So more often than not, if you shoot small arms into them, they're just going to ignore you and regenerate all the wounds. So when you go for a troll, you're going to have to go all in, like aim to kill them. So yes, I could charge here, but that puts me in a dismal position to deal with this, so I'm just going to skip for now. We'll trust our Dragon Knights to break that unit. The trolls are basically wasting their time here, so I'll have you charge forward. Just in case they're holding on, you can flank and support. Their War Chief has used their ability there, so War Cry, kind of a waste because it means literally only like a couple guys are going to get to hit us, so fine. But it does mean they get a use of an extra unit, which is annoying because I didn't get to see where they're going to move. So let's, I guess I could try, if between both shots, between this and this, maybe I can strip a troll. 2 hits there. So we've done 1 wound, so I just need to do 2 more to get 1. They're going to come charging forward and not reach us, which is okay, and then we're going to fire breath them. Average rolling. There you go, we killed 1 troll exactly, excellent. What we can do is we can go around and turn. So I can rear charge either of these units were I so inclined. Okay, let's see how this goes. Now this is a pretty tough unit, so immediately the character, even though I flanked them, the character here is still going to have a chance to hit me. So he gets to fight despite being positioned there, just a benefit that you get from being a lord, I guess. Everyone else makes way for you as you shuffle your way down the combat. So he had 3 attacks. He still has inferior skill to us, so he hits on 4s. But he's with the War Cry ability, he's increased all of his units' power, including his own, by 1. So he went from 4 to 5. 5 means his power now equals my defense, so I have to save on a 4+, I roll a 6 and smite him anyway. So we're still rolling. Now increasing ourselves to power 6 here is going to be crucial because we've immediately encountered an enemy that's defense 5. So we're still going to be forcing them to save on 5+ rather than 4+. So yeah, all of those 4s didn't count because we purchased our upgrade. Excellent choice. We take 1 wound back from them because they're very strong, but we keep all our Dragon Knights. You can't roll a 1 on 2 dice, so away they go. Excellent work. Okay, charges here. Let's have the dragon go smack into the trolls, and then we'll start out positioning these warriors in a moment. Forward they come, that's fine. I can't really get a unit around to the back, annoyingly. I'll have to wait for the trolls to go away. So what I'll do is I'll start just positioning for this turn, so I'll get you round to there. The reason I'm leaving them alone is because 1, they might run away, and if they don't, I'm just going to ram the spearmen into their spine anyway. They come back. Do I trust the spearmen to be able to break? Honestly, probably not. I'd rather just have the dragon jump around and hit them. I guess that's preferable. So I'm actually going to ignore them. And here, I'm obviously not going to allow you to hit them, so shoot and withdraw a bit. 2 less Orc Warriors. And we can just kite them forever here. Spearmen, they're going to start wandering towards us, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Spearmen here and get ready to turn around and run away. Okay, can I defeat Trolls? So Elandra gets 3 attacks re-rolling, 2 hits, which is actually 3 hits, great, and because we're now power 6, I force them to save on 5s. Okay, great, so they have 1 wound left, and then the Dragon. Again, skill 5 equal to Elandra, but with 5 attacks, so only 2 hits, and power 7. Oh, they rolled double, okay, so none of the Trolls died, they all get to hold on. They have terrible discipline, however, so they run away anyway. Even though they're broken and run away, they still get to be full of wounds, annoyingly. Charge, so I could put... Oh, I could double hit them. But I'm not going to do that because that Dragon Wight is wounded, so I'm going to put him into the back intentionally and have somebody else take the side. So I'm just going to leave that for this turn. They're going to turn and face me, that's fine. I can kite them with Spearmen forever. They're going to come to there, which is annoying. Okay, so what I can do is I can have this unit get into their rear now, like so. Right, very good. So 5 and 5. 2 less Orc Warriors. They break, so they're going to keep running, which is excellent news for me. I'm going to have this unit, well, burn them first. Yep. That's actually pretty important because it means they get less attacks on me if we're to flank them. So I'm going to hit them in the flank and rear here, which is good. And then you, I suppose... I mean, it depends. If the Trolls run this way... I don't know how I want to do this. I'll just move to put them behind them. If they keep going off this way, fine. If they run through me and somehow phase through, then I can just turn around and rear charge them. Works either way for me. Okay, they just ran off the field. Fine. Even easier. Let's go ahead and show these Orc Warriors who's boss. Okay, so you're never going to catch this unit as long as we live, I'm afraid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start dragging them this way. That way, if they turn around, what I can do is I can probably get the Dragon Knights into their rear. So I'm not going to make it too obvious. I'm going to get right over here so they don't think I'm going for them. And then when they do that, I can leap on them, hopefully. See how it goes. This unit has an ability we can't use, so don't worry about it. 3+, re-rolling. 3 of 3, very good. And good power, so start chopping through them. Dragon as well. 3 hits with... now. I'll kind of explain. Why did it say 6+? Whatever. The Dragon has a base power of 6 and goes up to 7 on the charge. So because our power was 3 or more greater than the enemy save gets reduced even further. Not even a 5+ will do that. You can only benefit on a 6+. So yeah, the thresholds are equal power to defense 4+, superior power to defense 5+, 3 or more power to defense 6+. So it represents the power being so far and above the enemy defense that you have a minuscule chance of saving the damage. So yeah, even that 5 wasn't good enough. The Dragon just ate 3 Orc Warriors. They hit me back, they hit 2 times. The power 4 and defense 6, so I save on 3, I take no damage. And then the Reavers go. 6 hits, we have equal power to strength, so they save on 4. They don't save very well, admittedly. So yeah, away they go. -4 is kind of hard. Okay, and I'm not exactly saving myself or anything here, so I'm just going to put the Dragon in again because it's fun. Very good. Okay, they're coming across this way. That's kind of annoying. I can't get the flank I wanted, so yeah, should I just flank them with some Spearmen then? Just to be rude about it. And there's nothing else to do, really. I'm not going to put you into the front of a rather grisly-looking unit. Just stand. Can you get a shot? Yeah, you can kind of split the difference there and shoot through. Yeah, 1 less War Chief. Sorry, Old Brute. So yeah, I haven't been using... So rally a fleeing unit. That is incredibly useful if you use the flee mechanic, but the AI hasn't really given me a chance to do so yet. They've just been outclassed by positioning. But if it does come up, then I'll kind of demonstrate how useful an ability that is. So Elandra kills another one. Dragon hits, great. Kills another 4, great, pretty much wipes the unit. There's that 1 guy left. The Skull Splitter there, all 1 of him. And the enemy... Now, they're not all dead, but the enemy sustained so much damage they've moved to routing this turn, which means at the end of the combat phase, they just give up. That's the end of the matter. Which, you know what, fair enough. They're not exactly going to be winning this one, are they? Gold for everyone, we're perfectly healthy. That's it, we now have a choice, we can go up or down. We're going to go up on account of the fact that down is just going to be a load of... We get stuck with a whole load of random events, and we can't even take any fight there. So this is definitely the path we want to go in, and it gets us another elite as well. So more gold. So yeah, we're perfectly good. So up we go. We're going to face a mining crew. So Dwarf, our first encounter with Dwarves, the ancient enemy of the Elves. Okay, so there's not really going to be any annoying cavalry. We have to think about Dwarves don't have fast units, so it'll be infantry. There'll probably be some melee stuff and some range stuff. I'm going to intentionally put my cavalry on the flanks, therefore. I can put the dragon in here. Right, so the way cover is a bit interesting. Yes, it serves to block line of sight, as I showed you. It does a couple other things. Another thing is that if you have a unit in it, you benefit from cover, so you get that symbol. What that means is that if an enemy tries shooting you, they suffer a -1 to hit penalty. So the same way that you get -1 from long range, you also get another -1 if you were shooting at an enemy in cover. But the downside, however, is that when you're in difficult terrain such as this, any attempt to move through it halves your movement. So you can only move about half the distance. Obviously, you get slowed down trying to move through the trees. Flying units have an interaction where they can go into terrain. They do not benefit from cover because obviously they're not in the tree line. They're flying over it. They don't care. The upside, the payoff is that you don't suffer the movement penalty. You can move through this. So what you can do if you're clever is if you're concerned about being shot by, like, say, a cannon or something on these units, you could just tuck yourself behind cover. So you can fly over it for free with no movement penalty, and the enemy can't see through it to shoot you. In this case, I doubt there's going to be anything really nasty approaching, so I'm just going to stick her there on Skytail and just have them. If there's anything camping out here, they can just beeline over and hit them. Otherwise, we'll put you in the other flank just in case there's something there, and these sort of in the middle. Okay, there's a unit of archers there. We knew there would be somewhere, so that's got your name written on it there. I would like the archers to shoot my spearmen if I had a choice, because they're kind of least valuable thing I've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to intentionally barrel my spearmen forward in an attempt to kind of draw aggro, if you get my meaning. So they'll target them as the closest. Perfect. They targeted the closest enemy, which is the spearman. I lost a spearman instead of taking damage to the dragon knights. Great. My turn. There's no way I'm going to be able to get into the flank of that unit. So yeah, we'll just take a front charge like so. An enemy archer's shooting versus their close combat is identical. They've got the longbows are power 3, they're power 3. They'll be hitting on 4s in combat or in shooting for long range anyway, so you might as well just get here and charge them before they come. Now these dwarf miners do actually have some ranged up. They have explosive charges, which means it's effectively a grenade. They can get to you. They get 1 use only, walk up to an enemy unit and roll a dice. On a 1 to 6, that's how many hits you get. They take that many power 4 hits, so they're just going to spite us. So what I can do is I can probably flank that one like this and flank that one like that. So let's get you into their flank somewhat further over, I think. So make sure I'm not getting... So we've got a lot of movement, so we can get to there. Yeah, that's clearly majority flank, and I think I'm far enough away not to be hit by them, so we'll take that. I can shoot something, the one I'm going into, I guess. One less miner in the world. Before they come, and they've positioned kind of awkwardly there, but I think I can still get around their side. No, I can't quite reach. Huh. Okay, I might have to go without charging them for a turn. Even if I go straight forward, can I get to their flank? Not really. I'm not taking miners on from the front. They're quite tough. So how do I do this? Do you think? No, I can't go through. No, amazingly, the AI has actually managed to deny me reaching them with a dragon, which is quite impressive. So I'll just get myself ready for next turn. I mean, yes, I could flamethrower them, but it'll give me a chance to grenade, which is kind of annoying. So just hang back here and wait for them to make a decision, I guess. Eventually, I'll be able to outposition them. Turn 2. So yeah, you can take that one, and you can smash your way through the archers. I might lose 1 dragon knight because I'm taking the unit on from the front, but better than just letting them shoot me over and over again. They're going to come around here and fail to reach anything, which is good. That makes it trivial for my dragons to get all the way up here now. Yeah, now we can just get into their rear arc, no problem. It's majority rear, yes, it is comfortably. So let's max that. Let's cook a few while we have the chance. Yeah, it just makes it easier to break them later on. And this is the one unit that might hold on, so obviously put the spearmen into their back in case they do. Just go all the way, and then we'll twist a bit to Make sure we can see them. Perfect. So we denied the miners from ever being able to grenade us. Fantastic hit roll from the Dawnstar Guard are doing incredibly well. Usually Light Cav is a bit hit and miss in the amount of damage they do, but they've just been doing great. So they do lose one at last because they got both their guys hit and wounded them. So we've at last lost a Reaver. Over here, re-rolling. So it's 8 hits, which is still 8 hits. And because we're now power 6 to their defense 3, they only get to save on a 6+. So we reduce them. They're power 3 to my defense 5, so they get a lot of hits. They did quite well. So yeah, I do lose a Dragon Knight. I kind of saw it coming. Charging units head on does tend to sustain. You will take some losses. Okay, so you're going to go into there. And do I want to... No, I'm just going to ignore them because I can move my Dragon Knights into their back. They're going to run anyway, so don't worry about it. So what I'll do is I'll have you shoot them when you have the chance. Or not, I guess. And then in case this unit holds on, position you around here to hit them in the rear. So they'll turn and face. And then you'll, as I understand, so they'll run towards their board edge. So they're going to run up here. So what I want to do to get into a flank position is this. So they go up there and then I can see them and hit them in the back. And then you don't particularly matter, do you? That's it. Yep, perfectly positioned. So Elandra hits 2 or 3 times. 2 miners immediately, and then Skytail, 2 more hits, 2 less miners. They get no attacks back because we reared them, so pretty good discipline dwarves. They might hold on. That's too much to ask for. That's that. Now, unfortunately, because we took 1, it's a bit of a shame in that you can sometimes regenerate guys, but you'd need to take 2 or 3 to get a guy back, so we're going to be stuck at 4 and 4. So Skytail has leveled up, which is great. Looter would be cool, but out of hand, because they're really reliant on Skytail doing quite a lot of work. I'm just going to immediately start increasing. It's a she. Skytail's definitely a lady, so I'm going to increase her attacks up to 6. Wounds are later, but yeah, let's make sure Elandra and Skytail are combat effective before anything else. The Reavers has leveled again. We didn't quite get the one I wanted yet, so we're just going to have to take extra gold, which is fine for now. And the Sun Wind Defender Dragon Knights have leveled. They're going to start moving up the move speed path, which is good. So you're full HP, and then I'll always take gold on the spears, no matter how depleted they get. I think I can live with 4 or 5 Reavers for now, because they're not as important, but I'm going to make sure my Dragon Knights are full. Well, we are up against an elite in the next one. I'm not leaving that much. For an extra guy, that's a lot of gold to leave on the table, so I will do it that way around. And yeah, let's see what this random event is. A Forgotten Tomb. Okay, so the way these work is that your army has found a forgotten tomb in the wilderness. Does it contain ancient treasure or slumbering evil? Form a search party to investigate or leave it be. In effect, you send your guys in. The more guys you send in, the more potential gold you drag out, and you may drag out magic items and stuff. The downside is that you lose them. So like you don't necessarily lose all of them, but you risk sustaining some losses. So typically, I'm not sending in like the value of a unit or how elite it is doesn't factor into what your chances for gold or losses are. So sending elite guys in like the dragon or any of the cavalry is insane because you lose a huge amount of combat power for little in turn. Sending in spearmen, however, that I don't use in combat for anything is a great idea. So usually I send in about 6. That's usually a pretty good value. So I'll lose a couple more of them. I'm not going to be using them to hit things anyway, so who cares? So in you go, spearmen. So there you go, fantastic. I lost 3 of them, but I gained 51 gold, which is nice. And more importantly, oh, for crying out loud, that's pointless. You get a magic item, but we got really unlucky in that we got a magic item that does nothing because it's reroll your missed attacks. Guess what? Elandra already rerolls all her missed attacks, so she gets to reroll them twice. No, I'm afraid not. You don't get to stack them, so we lost a couple spearmen for some gold, which is fine, I guess. I wasn't going to use them for anything else. They're just shot fodder. They're just going to be there sustaining damage. I think we'll leave it there for now. So yeah, we're clear. So the benefit of cavalry is that they're quite powerful. We can cut our way through the campaign quite quickly. So in the next part, we can easily finish off the rest of Act 1, so we deal with the boss and the elite in these battles. Otherwise, yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that. If so, please like and subscribe. I appreciate it immensely, and it really does help out the channel. If you have any notes on the SOVL run itself or any potential other runs that you'd like to see, kind of any concepts for an underlying idea what a run could be based around, please do let me know in the comment section. I'm more than happy to take feedback on board. Or if you just want to chat, that's fine too. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.